Alright, hi everybody, my name is Amy. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another floss tube. Forgive my hair, it is what it is. I know I've been super inconsistent with the floss tubes lately. I can't seem to get a good rhythm. I don't know what it is. I just can't seem to get it together. The sound looks really weird to me right now when I'm watching myself. My lips aren't matching the sounds, but this was happening a minute ago and I played back the clip and it seemed fine. So I'm going to try to keep this like under 30 minutes, maybe even under 20, just to make sure that nothing happens with the sound. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's been a bit. If you guys saw my last like vlog style floss tube, you'll have seen some of these. I don't think I've shown all of them. And then my most recent whip that I've been working on the past few days is not going to be on here just because it's on my Q-snap. Maybe I'll take a picture and I'll put it here, just because I had a really hard time getting this Q-snap into my Lowry for some reason, and I am not going to move it until I'm done or have to move it. I even had to like modify where I was going to go next on the pattern because I wanted to do a certain thing, and I'll talk about that in a minute, and it just wasn't happening. So I had to stitch on areas I didn't necessarily want to stitch right now. It is what it is. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So forgive my hair. It just I don't know. It's so obviously the dye is growing out. It's not looking too hot. I need to redo it. And I just haven't wanted to. I think I'm going to wait till after the holidays and see where that takes me. But my ends, I cut them in August, the beginning of August, and we're August, September, October, November. We're 3.5 months later, and it is not looking hot at all. I use only salon stuff, and it just has not been with it lately. I don't know if it's the weather change. There's a lot more humidity here in Tucson than I thought there was gonna be, and then it's been falling out like crazy. I don't know if it's just because I have so much on my plate. It is what it is. I've been promising an update video and I have failed to deliver. Stitch with me, so it's been very hard to film in this house. I don't have so before at my old house I had this like weird like bar height counter, and I would stick my arm, I thought I had it here but I don't. I had a camera arm that would move out, and I could move it like all out like this and sideways like that, and it would even stretch out completely like over my stitching area, and it made it so much easier to film Stitch with Me's that way. And I haven't been able to utilize that here with this house, and then it doesn't fit on my table. It won't fit on my counters because they're not deep enough, and then there's nowhere to sit, just the way things are set up here. So I haven't been able to use it, and so I haven't recorded any Stitch with Me's because I don't like using the tripod with the angle that it gives. I hate it. So it is what it is. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. So let's do, I guess, whips, the things that I've been working on, new starts, plans. So I drastically reduced my active whips right now, and even one, maybe two of what I'm going to show you today is going to go back into my non-active whips, which are here in these shelves that go up that you guys can't see. And I just kind of pull those out whenever I'm feeling kind of like blah with my other stuff, and just work on it with no rhyme or reason. And then my active whips are what I keep out in the main living area of the house where my Lowry is and my stitching stand, just to want to get progress on those. So the way that I did it, and I think I'm gonna do a video on that. I did it with not only things that I have the most progress on, but things that I just really want to finish, and things that I generally just enjoy stitching on them so much, more so than other projects for some reason. And just is what it is. I've been trying to be very mindful in what I purchase. I completely stopped buying Heaven and Earth design charts because I have a binder full. I have a 2-inch binder that is completely filled with Heaven and Earth photo patterns, and it's only the cover pages. The cover pages and like the page like this, like the floss list. And those are just the ones that I haven't started. And then I have probably 10 minimum, at least 10 here that are kitted fully or partially kitted with fabric and floss, or partially kitted with just fabric, or partially kitted with just floss. And then at least another 5 that are already started, at least. It's too much. I'm very overwhelmed by what I have, and I constantly want to start stuff. I constantly want to kit stuff up, and it's too much. I also left my newest fabric at my mom's, an accident, so I'll have to save that for the next Flosstube, because I do still get Brandy's fabric of the month. I don't know why. I don't need it. I really don't. If I was, what's the right word? I don't know. It would make sense to just cancel it, because I've got so much fabric right here that I'm not doing anything with. It's literally just sitting here, and I just get more every month. Like, it just keeps coming in. I only get one a month, so I'm not like buying any at the store or anything like that, but I'm still getting Brandy's fabric. And I don't know. I think I might cancel it until after this next one in December. I think I might cancel it for another 6 months or so, because I have no intentions of starting any of this stuff or any of this fabric. And then I bought a couple of new charts that I'm going to pick fabric for too, and I think that's it. Like, I'm very content with what I have, and I don't really feel the need to buy more. Minus, I really want to get the snowman set that's coming out, the 12 snowmen that's going to take like a whole year. I can't remember who's making it. Is it Cottage Garden Samplings? I'm not sure. There's a frame, and then they're releasing like one snowman a month, and they already released the first snowman in November, and then it will be like one new snowman for a whole year on this chart, and I really want to do that. And I'm thinking of stitching it in DMC's satin, because I hate stitching with regular DMC white thread. It's terrible. And I think it would look amazing with the satin thread anyway. If you guys aren't new to my channel, you know how much I love the DMC satin threads. So anyway, let's just get into whips. So my oldest whip, not like the first whip that I started, but the one that I haven't worked on this in the past couple of weeks, and I've just been saving it here. So I think it's time to pack it back up so that I can use the Q-snap, because right now all my Q-snaps are taken because I just haven't been working on it lately. Oh please. So I'm actually running out of thread for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 skeins left, and I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've used 4 skeins already. So I've used half of what I originally purchased for this chart. This is Long Dog Samplers Pandemic. It looks like this, and I hope you guys can see it. I've started up here. I believe I've fully finished this motif, and I've done all of this and all of this right here, and this is where I'm at right now. Let me take it off. I've been using these thingies. I got them from New Craft Day. I absolutely love them. But you guys know that I love stuff like that. The little claspy claws are just amazing. So with this, because I'm stitching it in all one color, I'm stitching this in DMC's 115, and it's a variegated red, and it just goes from bright red to dark red. I love it. I think it's an appropriate color for this. Not to be like morbid or anything. Also stitching it on Be Stitch Me's Ice Queen in Joblin 32 count, 2/2, and I didn't custom order this, but I requested this color in this size because I purchased a half yard of this. And this is how far I've gotten. When I pulled it out this last time, I have no idea where I was at before. I only had like up to this bird here, and so I was able to finish a whole page because I had to finish the page that I was on, and then this whole entire thing. So the way that it worked out was I finished a whole page of that, and so this is the bottom of the page, whatever page that was. And over here, I think there's only one more page after, like there's this and another thing here, and there's only one more page, and then I would have gone across the top completely. So I'm pretty happy with how, my cat is just here, how much progress I've made on this. Absolutely love stitching on it. It's one of those things where I don't get tired of it. One reason why I love the Long Dog Sampler so much is because I'm gonna take it off the cute stem now that I have it. So I have a bunch of needles on here. I keep several magnets on here, and I preload. I try to keep 6 needles on here, and I preload all 6 with a thread, and then that way when I'm stitching I don't have to stop so much and reload the needle after every thread. I can just go with all 6 strands since I pull it off the skein, and I just work off the skein because I'm going to use the whole thing anyway. And then I can keep all 6 on my thing like that and just use it off of that, and it works, and I'm happy doing it that way. I don't know why that bundle of thread just fell out. My cat is really pissing me off. Can you guys see him? He's just here being a punk. I have been so sick lately. I had COVID. About 2 weeks ago, I tested positive for COVID, so I had to stay home for a couple of days from work. And then I thought I was okay, went back to work for one day, and then the weekend, it just started coming back. So the whole next week came, which was this last week, and I still wasn't feeling right. Finally went to the doctor, and they gave me a COVID test, a flu test, and then they have to like double test you for COVID because sometimes the rapids are wrong. All of it was negative. And they did like a lab COVID test, a rapid COVID test, and then a flu test. All of it was a negative. They checked other stuff, and she said I had a sinus infection. So now they put me on these really hardcore medicines that I just feel like I want to throw up all day long. I guess that's what the steroids do. So now I'm on antibiotics, I'm on steroids, and then they wanted me to take Sudafed, which is the dangerous one that they keep behind the counter for reasons. And so I'm taking that as well, and I just, it's a lot. So, but I have to say today is the most I felt like better than any of the days in the past 2 weeks, so that's good. And I can talk, because on Friday I could not talk at all. No, Tuesday I couldn't talk at all. I even showed a show in class on Tuesday to my students, and I hadn't planned on doing that. I don't like to show videos because it's a waste of instructional time, especially in our district. Like, it's a lot, and I just couldn't talk. So yeah, anyway, too much about that. I think I'm gonna take this one off the Q-snap too. I worked on this very little. Emily's House. This is not one of my active whips. This is by Lindy Stitches. I have only a handful of her patterns. Not for any particular reason other than it's just not really my style of stitching. I believe that I purchased this one. I have the Magical Menagerie that Amy Sprinklestein gifted me. I think I might have 1 or 2 more. Oh, I know I have her, what is it called? Little Horrors or something like that, which is the plant, the Feed Me Seymour. That one is a cute one. Anyway, I'm stitching this on none other than Brandy's Be Stitch Me Mummy in 18 count Ada. And I don't know why I don't like stitching this more. It's a very cute pattern. I'm stitching it in the called for. It calls for a lot of gentle art, and this is all I have on this one. Not very much. The border's fun to do, but it gets boring. That is all I've done. When I pulled it out, I did the window, I filled in the window here, and I did a strand of the fill in down here. I came a little bit down here. Oh, and then I filled in all the gray here because it's a dark gray and a light gray. So I only had the dark gray stitches like here, and I came in and filled in all the light gray here. And yeah, I don't know, I'm not enjoying this stitch as much as I want to. And it's not a hard pattern to do either. I definitely think if I gave this a time, I should be done with this. That's probably all project, and I think we all say that. I was watching Film Books. He changed his channel. Books and Floss, I think he calls it now. Lost in Books and Floss, and he says that too. He's like, if I just gave this a time, it would be done. Because this is not a huge piece of fabric, and yeah, I don't even have a page finished done just because I've just not been giving it the time that I should be. It's gonna be so cute too when it's finished. And this one, again, I don't know when the last time I worked on these. This is not gonna be any like before and now photos, just because, yeah. And I'm also not gonna be stitching all of these animals here because I don't like them. So I did get extra of the grass color. I don't even think I'm going to stitch the scale. I'm definitely going to stitch these two flowers here. And then I think I'm just going to put a couple more of these in to the grass here. And that's it. Because there's a snail and a duck. I just don't like the contrast. That's the snail, that's the duck, and this is, it looks like it might be a turtle. I just don't like the contrast with the animals. I feel like they get lost in the background. So I think I'm just going to stitch a few more of these in here and call it a day. I think I like that better for it. So yeah, that's that. One day, when and if, you know, like I said, this isn't one of my active whips that I'm currently trying to work on, so it just kind of gets pulled out when I don't feel like leaving my room. Then I got a ton of work done on my Box and Teacup Designs Harry Potter book covers. I am working on the no name version, She Who Must Not Be Named. It's a hard thing to let go of despite political things going on, and so it just, yeah, you know, this was played a very huge part of my childhood, and it's just not something that I can easily let go of. So all that aside, you know, the link to this is usually in the description. This one sits permanently on the Q-snap because I find that I pull this one out quite often wanting to work on it, and it's one of those that when I pull it out, I don't put it away for a while. So I'm going to take a bunch of this off. I've gotten a lot of progress on this. I've completed several pages. I don't know how many exactly I've completed, but I think I've completed 2 pages at least. Oops, didn't want to take that one off too. And this is where we're at on it. Yeah, I didn't want it to be this big, and had I have been more, I'm not sure what the right word is, but I wish I would have done it a little bit smaller, because this is 28 count 2/2 on just some Lugana. I don't know where I got it because I started this so long ago. I don't even know when I started it because that was when I wasn't keeping track. I could probably go back through Etsy and see when I purchased it, but yeah. And I'm using one of the first needle minders that I got from the, what are they called? The Black Needle Society Harry Potter boxes. That's one of the needle minders. The second needle minder was on the one I just showed you. Like the long one is the Marauder's Map. Anyway, that's beside the point. So yeah, this is how much I've gotten. Book 1, as far as I am on this page, book 1 is completely done. Goes up to here. Is it? No, I have a couple of stitches down here. 4 stitches here that I need to fill in. And book 2 is getting pretty close to it. And then on the pages, the way that I'm working them, there's only partially book 3. And I'm absolutely loving the way that it's coming out. There's not any, it looks like there's like some ridges right here, but there's not. It's just the way the stitches are right there. They're really like liney. I'm sure that'll go away once the rest of it's filled in. I know 2 Martini Stitchers doing it book by book. I like the way that I'm doing it right now because I get kind of bored doing just like this one part, and I like the transition a lot. And this is by far my favorite piece and my favorite thing to work on. It's constantly in the back of my head. So this is one of my active whips for sure. Absolutely love it. And it lives in, of course, this Harry Potter bag, also from one of the Black Needle Society boxes, just because it's a rather large project and needs a lot of space. And these bags are very forgiving. Huge bags. Like, I feel like it's not doing it justice on here. They're very big. I have another one. I kind of wish they would have put one in every box, but so far there's been 3 boxes and only 2 bags. The second box wasn't as good as the first or the third boxes, just my opinion. And those are my whips. Other than I'll talk about the one in a minute. Well, no. So this is I'll put a picture here. My, what is it called? Hey, don't get in my pants. Witchy Stitcher. Oh, what's this one called? Because I have one already. I did the Chopping Mall. This is the Universal Monsters Stitch Along, and I'm doing the expanded version. So that's what this picture is going to be. So you can see what it's gonna look like. Where I'm at now. I've done most. So when I pulled this back out the other day, I only had like 2.5 rooms partially stitched, just the frame. So I've been able to complete all of this up until now, and I'm gonna go work on it right now after this video. I wanted to keep this under 30 minutes, and I'm already at 23. So I've been able to, like, I'm gonna work on it right now, and I'll put in the picture before I start working on it right now. So I wanted to move the Q-snap, but then I've been having so many, just today for some reason, because I want to do the whole frame. Because I remember when I was working on the chopping wall, oh my gosh, like the frame was just such a freaking headache to do. And I remember I did the whole bottom of the frame and then stitched everything on the inside, then saved the huge chunk of stuff on the top for last, which was the top of the chopping wall. And it was just so tedious, and I hated every second of it. It was just so, it was like, it's basically full coverage. Inside that roof was all full coverage, and I hated it. I don't know why. Maybe not now, because that was one of the first things that I started, if not the first. Was it? No. It was one of the first 5 projects that I started, and one of the first things I also finished, like one of the first 3 things I think that I finished, and it was a lot. It was a lot. So knowing that, you know, I wanted to finish most of the frame as well as most of the roof, then kind of go back, do some in the middle, then start on the roof again, because the frame is cake. It was the rest of it, especially since I'm doing the expanded version. So the main version is only 9 rooms in the middle with the top. Well, the expanded version has everything on the outside, bunch of stuff at the top, including the moon, the clouds, the ghosts, the trees, with 6 extra rooms, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. You'll see the picture here, what it's gonna look like. All of these patterns, aside from what's in the center, are in her Facebook group that you have to hunt for in the files. Now, mind you, this came out years ago, and I've had this pattern sitting here for years, but I started it probably 2 years ago, and I'm just now working the bulk of it up. And so you might have to do some hunting in the group, because all of the other patterns are included in her bot pattern. They're free in the group, but they're all charted by group members that of course she approved and said, this is great, you know, we'll post it in the files. And so some of them don't actually have a chart, and I'm counting like stitches based off of their photo, and I've been able to gauge most of it accurately that way. That's just me. That might not work for you. Again, you could just do the middle piece and it'll look more like the shopping mall chopping mall, if you want them to match. I personally wanted the bigger one, and then it had that with the Winchester brothers on the bottom corner that I absolutely love, so I had to include that. And it's just my thing. I love it. I love Halloween. I stitch Halloween all year. We're already coming into Christmas and I'm still stitching Halloween, so there you have it. It is what it is. And then, so that's that. Then I decided to finally get the ball rolling on my Super Mario chart. I can't remember where this is from on Etsy. It's like box. I wish their patterns like said where they're from. I have no clue. And I buy so much stuff on Etsy that it's so hard searching on my phone through things, because in order to type words in the search bar, you have to do it on a computer. And every time I try to do it on my phone, it only lets me enter an order number. It's dumb. But anyway, it's like box something or something and box. I don't know. But this is what it looks like. I have another version of this. That's the Epinasis Game of Mushroom Kingdoms stitch along. Not stitch along. It's called the Game of Mushroom Kingdoms, and it is a Super Mario Game of Thrones mashup map. And I absolutely loved it, and that's what turned me onto this. But then when I started gathering the materials for it, I was like, nobody's gonna understand this. Like, nobody that I know is a gamer and is in love with Game of Thrones. So it was going to be like, this isn't accurate. Where did you get this from? Have you ever played the game? And I was like, I think I'd like the separation between the two. I still have the pattern. Maybe one day I might go back and do it. But I ended up just going and finding this accurate version and deciding to do it. And this was just called Super Mario World Map. Very easy to find on Etsy. This particular shop has several of the leveled maps of Super Mario. I think there's also some Zelda ones on there, so it's very easy to find. I am not stitching any of the blue. I thought my daughter was crying. I guess it's the TV. Not stitching any of the blue. I decided that that was going to be a nope for me. And what I did instead was I dyed this fabric. It doesn't quite match. At the time, the dye that I had just wasn't coming out to be the color that I wanted it to be, and I was happy with what I received, which was this. I was dyeing this like at the very, very, very beginning of COVID, and it was very hard to find the RIT dye that I wanted. For a short period of time, you couldn't even order off of the RIT website because everything was sold out. At one point, they even removed like the option to purchase from them completely because they were so busy stocking like the big box stores. It was just a mess. So I did with what I had and left it at this. Now obviously I would dye this a much darker blue, but that's okay. And I started in the middle-ish, which is, middle is like right here. Obviously I'm not stitching any of the blue, so I came up a bit and started this piece, and I'm almost done stitching it. Oops, that's what I got. So I'm not enjoying the stitches on this for some reason. It was an 18 count when I dyed it. Obviously I hand dyed it, so there's a lot of shrinkage going on. So now it's more like a 21-ish count. It shrunk a lot. And my stitches are quite tight. And I'm very glad that I chose not to do the blue because they wouldn't fit on this. It's getting difficult to get the stitches in there. I think you can even see, like, just doesn't look nice, especially the yellow, but I hate stitching lighter colors anyway. Yet lighter colors are freaking terrible to stitch in. So I'm almost done. The pattern stops right here, so which is why there's no black line up here, because it closes. So yeah, I started coming up here to start working on the wall up here. There's not a whole lot on the pages just because like I'm not doing the water. So yeah, I'm gonna come up and just start working this way. So yeah, it's fun. I I'm going to love it once it's done. I know I am. It's just getting there. Ugh, I'm always losing my magnet to this. Needle minder. I don't know where I got it from, but the magnet's just not strong. I think I ordered it off of Mercari. So this is in my active whips, but I'm thinking of taking it out. I don't know why. I just haven't been enjoying that stitch lately. So I could be removing it from my active whips. I'm not sure yet. Putting those empty Q snaps aside. Oh, where did this go to? Oh, that goes here. All right. And those are all my active whips, or those are all the things that I've worked on in the past like 2-ish weeks. So what have I purchased? In my last like vlog thingy, I forgot to share with you guys a chart that I purchased. As soon as I saw it, I had to have it, and I bought it immediately. And when I bought it, it was like right when it was about to finish. So I purchased it, and then I just waited for the last piece to come out so that I could print the whole pattern at once, because I don't like printing it in parts. It's very annoying. Was the Haunted Library cell. It's completely finished now. First, just the name alone, I knew I was gonna like it. So I waited for some of the pieces to come out. Once it was halfway out, I was like, nope, I'm getting it. I have to. It's so stinking cool. I freaking love it. It's amazing. I love everything Halloween, and everything that has to do with library books, and the staircase is just spectacular. This was just a great thought process. It's by Lola Crow, and her Etsy shop is called Lola Crow Cross Stitch, and I just freaking love it. I'm sure you guys have seen this online on Facebook or whatever, but I freaking loved it. I had to get it, and I forgot to show you guys this last time in my last haul video thing. So today, so I was sitting on a few Heaven and Earths, because as it stands right now at the recording of this video, Heaven and Earth is having a Thanksgiving 50% off sale. But again, like I mentioned earlier, I've been trying to be really mindful of what I purchase from Heaven and Earth Designs, just because I have so many full coverages and so many things that I want to do. These are probably the last group of patterns that I'm going to purchase for a while, just because, again, I'm just trying to be super self-conscious, not self-conscious, but super aware of what I buy. Not like when I first started stitching, it was like haul every week, every video, boom boom, tons, hundreds of dollars. My stitching stash, which any stitcher like myself, you know, who's a non-monogamous stitcher, their stash is probably thousands of dollars worth. Thousands. Like, it's so, like, I've invested so much into it that I honestly worry when I go to work. I make sure, like, my coffee pot's unplugged, all my heaters are turned off, all of my curling devices, hair tools, everything's unplugged, because I'm so scared of losing my stash. Like, I'm that paranoid, just because I've invested so much time too and energy into organizing things, stitching things, putting fabric and floss together. It's a lot if you're a stitcher like myself. I recently had my 3rd year floss anniversary that I have been a stitcher, and it just gets worse as time goes on. You know, I've seriously contemplated quitting my job and stitching full time if it was just possible. So that being said, I have a few more charts to show you. So I came across this today. I don't know how or why, I just did. There's a shop on Etsy called Creatively Crafting, and she licenses Mandy Manzano art. And if you guys remember, if you're OGs from back in my diamond painting days when it was nothing but diamond paintings, I was begging Diamond Art Club to release the superhero Mandy Manzano images. From what I was told, this was years ago, Diamond Art Club had no interest in releasing the superhero versions of her diamond paintings, and still to this day they haven't. So I saw that this company actually had a couple of them, and they're in my cart, but I'm not going to purchase them because I ended up purchasing this one instead. This is a Mandy Manzano, and I had to, because Nightmare Before Christmas is my all-time favorite movie. I could literally watch it every single day. It's a Halloween movie and a Christmas movie, and I will still watch it all year. And I know in her shop, so she does have the Iron Man, she has Thor, Spider-Man, Hawkeye. Is it Hawkeye or just Hawk? Can't remember his name. And I think that's it. I'm not sure. Maybe Loki? I can't remember. Mandy Manzano has drawn a lot of the superhero ones. She doesn't have all of them creatively crafting in her shop, but I'm going to keep an eye on it and see. They're a little pricey. I think these are $21. They weren't on sale, so I felt like it was a little much, but for me, this is worth it. You know, this does have, oh, it doesn't say, because I only print, so when I buy the patterns, for this one, she gives you a color copy, a black and white copy, a pattern keeper copy, and I think that's it. That was a lot of files. I downloaded the pattern keeper version, and I will be stitching this in pattern keeper just because it was a lot to print out. I don't know how many colors are in here, but it's quite a bit. These are 2 rows of colors, all DMC, and I'm very excited for this. So the stitches are 144 wide, which isn't bad, by 432, which again, it's kind of large. So we'll see how it ends up being. I might even cut his legs a little shorter just to get the top part. You'll find that I have plans to do that in a lot of my Heaven and Earths, just to make them more attainable for me. So there's that. And yes, I did print it wrong. It's because I was printing schoolwork at the same time. And some of my schoolwork, I had to print it on the short edge, so that when they flipped it over, it was like this. And so I forgot to change the settings. I had to pause for a second. I had to drink some water because my throat was getting really dry. So anyway, so much for 20 minutes, right? Okay, next one. Almost done, I swear. So this one I did print. Hold on, I can't remember who it's by. This one I saw, oh, I can't remember. I think I saw it on Instagram. I'm not sure. And it's available on Etsy by Olivia plus Lee Studios. And it's another house. What the fuck is wrong with me? Like, seriously, I can't. I love them. So this one is called, oh, wish I knew. I didn't download the Mockingbird Lane cell, which is the Munsters. So this is the order in which it came out, and then of course this is what it's supposed to look like when it's done. So she has 2 versions. She's got the grayscale version, which is this one, and a color version. I decided to do the grayscale version because when I was a kid, the Munsters was my very favorite show on TV next to Star Trek. And I very, very specifically have very vivid images of watching the Munsters as a child in black and white. I'm older than I look. Okay? Don't come after me. And so I had to do the black and white version. You have to. I had to keep it legit. So, yeah. I have no idea how many colors it asks for because when I download patterns, again, to save ink and paper, I don't download all the frou-frou, and I just download the floss list per image because it uses different ones anyway. And so to keep it easy and not have so many papers that I need to keep out, this one, all the patterns were landscape version, and so I printed them landscape version with the individual flosses to each one on the back. And the way these ones are printed, so it comes with like the cover thing, it comes with like the blank, this with whatever section it's on, and then it's got this pattern, it's got this, and then it's got another backstitch version. So it's this image again without the colored in symbols, with the backstitch lines more pronounced to see, and then another one of these for the backstitch. It's too many papers to print, and I work just fine doing it this way. So there it is. It just I'll put it closer so you can marvel in all its glory. Yes. And this is the colored version of the grayscale of what it looks like. It's more gray-y and lavendery in person than it looks on paper. It looks very dull on here, but it is not, I promise. Okay. It looks quite neat. I absolutely fell in love with it when I saw it. I believe I saw it on Instagram. It looked very cool. There's a lot of cobwebs and stuff in here that you can't see on camera because of the tone, but it's gonna be freaking awesome. So one day when I start that. And then the last thing I got, so don't come after me with this one, okay? This one didn't have a cover page, so I don't have a photo for it. I'll put one here. It's the Kingdom of Books. And so this is a very, very hard pattern to find. I think it's supposed to be available as a kit. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I had it on eBay for the very longest time. I had it saved on eBay. Every time I would go to buy it, it was sold out. It would keep coming back and it would keep coming back, and it was never at a time that I either could afford to purchase it or wanted to purchase it, because sometimes we get overwhelmed and we don't want to buy things. Or we just can't. And then briefly I found it on Etsy like a couple of times at just like astronomical prices. Some people were charging like 60, 70, 100 and some dollars for it. That's how hard it was to find. And then I found it on Amazon once or twice, but the Amazon one had very bad reviews, said it wasn't like the original version. I think it's a Russian kit. I don't know. And so I saw this on Etsy. It just popped up, and it's called, I don't know. I'll put it here because I can't remember. It has a lot of colors in it, and there's a lot of back stitching as well, and I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to make out all of the lines in the back stitch. We'll see. Actually, no, I don't think I'm going to need much of the back stitch because I am not going to put any of the words in. So each book has like a title. I think I'm just going to leave all the titles off, honestly. You know, when you have old books, sometimes the spines get worn away anyway. And so I think I'm just going to leave them. I know Handwork Maniac is stitching this, and she is stitching, I guess she had somebody translate the words for her, because they are, I believe, in Russian. I don't know if you can even make them out. They are in like Russian. So from my understanding, she had somebody, it might not be Russian, maybe it's in a, I don't know. She had them translated to what the English version of it was, and she's stitching the English name, if I'm not mistaken. I think I'm just going to leave it blank. There is some back stitching in some of the like windows or whatever on the books. But I absolutely freaking love it. I found it on there. I read the description. I was reading all of the reviews, and it seems to be legit, and it's so hard to tell with companies like this. And so I just said, you know what, I'm going to risk it and I'm going to do it. What I am thinking though is I am not going to stitch this wooden background. I don't think it's necessary. I don't like it. I feel like it's kind of weird in the whole thing, and so I think I'm just going to stitch it on something like blue, so it looks more like the sky behind it. I've got several things. What's the stitch count? I don't know if it'll fit on something like this. This is 32 count Joe Blend, but this is Morning Fog by Be Stitch Me. Something like this I think it might be good on. I can't remember what color I got at my mom's house right now. I don't know if it's a yellow. I don't remember, but I did get a color in my mom. It gets shipped to my mom's because I was moving, and then when I asked her to update the address, she's like, yeah, I already did. So I was like, you know what, never mind. I'm not even worry about it. Anyway, that's that. So yeah, I'm gonna try to cut this video down to I don't think I'm able to cut a whole 15 minutes out, but that's my stuff. I don't even know if I'm able to make this fit in my binders. My binders are full, you guys. They are stuffed full with patterns. I need a bigger house. Anyway, that is all I have to share with you guys. I feel like I talked a lot. I probably did. We'll see what I have to share with you guys later. I have been trying so hard to get at least 30 minutes of stitching in every single day, just because I didn't stitch for many months. I wasn't stitching. I just, with the new job and everything, getting used to working outside of the house, which I hadn't done in like 10 years, much less with 3 kids. The last time I worked outside of the house was when I only had 1 kid, and it's a lot. Do you hear that? That's weird. All right, I need to investigate. So yeah, it is what it is. Update video someday. We'll see. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully I can cut a few minutes off, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.